What NBA skills age the worst and what lasts forever? We ran 9,162 player seasons from 1980 through 2026 through the NetWins database to find out which basketball skills erode fastest with age and which ones hold up. The database is located at willf123 at github.io/NBA-net-wins or through the NetWins portal at netwins.substack.com. Every NBA offseason comes with the same tired assumptions: a 34-year-old scorers, a ticking time bomb, a 36-year-old point guards over the hill. Front offices treat the downswing like a cliff, operating on the assumption that skills universally erode the second a player hits their late 20s. It sounds intuitive, but is it actually true? And does Father Time treat every basketball skill the same way? Thanks for listening to NetWins at netwins.substack.com. Subscribe for free. To find out, we mapped aging curves for 9 distinct basketball skills using 46 years of NBA data, filtering down to players with at least 40 games and 20 minutes a night. The results show a clear split between what fades fast and what holds steady and what actually gets better with age. So for each skill, we tracked league average per game production from age 21 to 39, calculating the annual post-peak rate of change on a normalized scale where 100 equals peak season value. There is one caveat: survivorship bias is real. In the older buckets, we have 878 qualifying seasons at age 25, but only 61 at age 37. Guys hanging around at 37 aren't random samples, they're exceptional players. Even so, the trajectory of the data tells a fascinating story. So the rankings from fastest decay to most durable. Tier 1, which skills that erode the fastest, at about 1 to 2% per year after a peak. Offensive rebounding at minus 1.89%. It is the most age-sensitive skill in the sport. Offensive rebounding peaks at 23 and drops in a near straight line. By 38, the average player retains just 72% of their peak output. It makes total sense. Crashing the glass takes an explosive first step, relentless second jumps, and a high tolerance for contact. League averages tumble from 1.48 offensive rebounds a game at ages 22 to 24 down to 1.23 for ages 35 to 38. The second skill that erodes fastest is scoring at minus 1.17% a year. Points peak per game at age 25 before a steady decline that accelerates past 33. By 35, the average player sits at 83% of their peak volume. But to be clear, this is scoring volume, not efficiency. What actually fades is the shot creation, getting all the way to the rim, drawing fouls, and sustaining that physical load for 82 games. The third skill that erodes the fastest is steals at minus 0.73% per year. Anticipation, lateral quickness, and defensive motor all peak in a player's mid-20s. League averages slip from 1.01 steals a game down to 0.84 in the late 30s, a clean 17% drop. Skills that have slow decay or near zero change are field goal percentage, minus 0.19% a year. Field goal percentage peaks at 26, right alongside the athletic prime, but barely moves afterward, dropping less than 0.2% a year. A guy shooting 47% at 26 is still hovering around 45% at 38. Pure shooting efficiency is remarkably durable. What players don't lose is touch, but the volume of the shots they can generate. Another slow decay is total rebounding. Total boards look flat across the board, only because offensive declines and defensive improvements effectively cancel each other out. Tier 3 stats that are age-proof or improve with age are assists. Playmaking doesn't care about a vertical leap, reading the floor, manipulating defenses, and processing pressure are cognitive skills. Assist production holds essentially flat from age 21 all the way through the late 30s. Free throw percentage. Free throw shooting doesn't actually decline, it actually improves. League averages go from 75% at ages 22 to 24 up to 77.6% for ages 35 through 38, with the database peaking at age 37. It's pure technique, repetition, and mental routine. Look at the late career marks on the database: Reggie Miller, Chris Paul, Stephen Curry, and Steve Nash, all well above 92%. Defensive rebounding. Defensive boards go up with age. Why? Positioning. Knowing where a missed shot's going before it comes off the iron and mastering leverage beats raw bounce every single time. The biggest plot twist in the entire database, block shots trend upward with age, with the database peaking at age 39, even controlling for survivorship bias. Blocks at 35 average zero point 0.6 per game, virtually identical to the 0.62 logged at age 22. Elite shot blocking relies on anticipation, reading the driver's hips, and vertical substitutes. Guys like Rudy Gobert and Miles Turner won't block shots at 35 because they jump higher. They'll do it because they've seen every angle. So, what does this mean when evaluating a player? Scoring drop offs are real but exaggerated. A 33-year-old scorer isn't instantly washed. A guy dropping 30 at age 27 is on pace for roughly 24 points at age 35, not zero. When LeBron, Steph Curry, or Kevin Durant put up 25 points per game in their late 30s, they aren't defying physics, they're just riding the high end of a gradual distribution curve. Craft beats explosion. The market consistently overpays for raw athleticism and discounts craft. Contacts tied to shooting, passing, and defensive positioning age infinitely better than those tied to offensive rebounding and high volume slashing. Free throws are heavily undervalued. It's the one guaranteed skill that improves with age, requires zero athletic upkeep, and prints points. A 92% shooter at age 30 is a safe bet to remain a 91% shooter at 38. So, what is the implication with the net wins formula? The net wins formula treats positive contributions equally, with points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks all adding to a player's net total, while misses and turnovers subtract, because the formula naturally weighs volatile skills like scoring and offensive rebounding. Player totals naturally compress as they age. However, the data suggests that our uniform 9% annual post-peak decay rate might be a bit too blunt, because free throw shooting, defensive rebounding, and shot blocking actually climb as players get older. The real-world decline for players who lean into craft is noticeably shallower than the flat 9% model assumes. The net wins formula and all written content are original works. All rights are reserved. I thank you for your time.